Joining us, everyone, this afternoon. For those of you I have not had the opportunity to meet in person, my name is Marla Gordon. I'm the Director of Clinical Services here at Kendal at Home, and we're thrilled to have two people with us from Spiro100 today. Mark Scher and Lori Snow are here to give an overview of Spiro100, but before they start, I'm going to just interject for those of you that might not have had the opportunity to attend one of our exercise classes. I do want to remind everyone that on Mondays at 1 o'clock, we have Movement Mondays every Monday with either Chris, one of our care coordinators who does resistive exercises, or Terry, another one of our care coordinators that does seated Balloflex exercise to music classes. So certainly feel free to join either Chris or Terry or both every Monday at 1 o'clock for Movement Mondays. But we thought Spiro100 was a great adjunct to the offerings that Kendal already has in regard to exercise. But really that focus on wellness, balance, and fall reduction is really what we're looking for. So we have recently purchased membership to Spiro100 for all Kendal at Home members to have unlimited on-demand access. And we have invited Mark and Lori to give us an overview of how the product works, and then we'll talk a little more at the end of what the next steps are. So welcome to you both. And if you wouldn't mind giving a little background on Spiro100, and then I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Lori, do you want to do it, or should I do the background?
Yeah, no, you should definitely do the background. As one of the owners, you should definitely.
Okay. Lori's just so polished. Yeah, so first of all, thank you everyone for being here. And we could not be more excited to be partnering with Kendal at Home. We think this is a really, really great use of Spiro100, and the partnership will hopefully bring lots of not just satisfaction, but energy and kind of focused attention to staying active and healthy while you're at home. So many people don't have this opportunity right now for various reasons, but our mission as a company is to keep as many people moving as possible and to keep them as independent and safe as possible. And we do that by offering expertly created and designed wellness programming. We've gone and scoured the earth to find the right people to provide you with content that is extremely safe and specifically developed for older adults, and try to catalog this content in a way that makes it extremely easy for you to find the right classes that will be perfect for you based on what you're trying to accomplish. And just to give you a little bit of background about how we did this, so basically we found one of the leading experts in the world when it comes to creating wellness programs for senior living communities. And then she helped us identify many of the top trainers in the entire country that kind of have this active aging specialty. And then within those, we identified various kind of focus areas for those trainers. And we sought out kind of the top trainers in those respective categories. And then we've brought them into the studio. We go through like a really, really strict vetting process when it comes to creating the content to make sure that it's being cataloged correctly and placed in the right areas. And most importantly, that the content is extremely safe for those that are taking it. So I think that's a little bit of background about the company and the content that we have to offer. Lori, do you have anything else that you want to add to that?
I had to get off mute. Yeah, just a little color commentary. I think everyone realizes now how important movement is, and as we get older, it gets a little bit more difficult to to get up and go and get at that daily exercise. And so part of it is we try to make it fun. We try to give you a lot of variety, and things like dance, right, and sports moves, and different ways to keep active instead of just something like boring calisthenics. So the variety is going to be extremely helpful, and the app is going to make it easy because it'll be right there in front of you, easy to access. But the drive has to be to get up and do it, right? And we know that all of life builds on being able to move and to be healthy physically. Once you can move and you're healthy physically, everything else will build on top of that. You'll be more interested in reading the book, in going and socializing and playing games or doing other, getting up and maybe going to church. Those things that you find important in your life will come easier to you once you have a good foundation of movement and exercise. So that has to come from within, that drive, and we can't help you with that. That's got to come from you. But once you're there, once you've made the commitment to exercise, the app should make it easy and enjoyable.
Yeah, thank you, Lori. And all of you guys are already here. So you've taken a fantastic first step. And you guys work with Kendal as well. So, I mean, they make this such a priority that, I think that you all have chosen the right place to be and the right partners in your life to make sure that you remain active because they've made it such a priority. So, everyone who's made it to the call, first of all, congratulations on making that choice. I think it's the right choice. And like Lori was saying, we just want to make it easier for you to accomplish what you guys are set out to do. And hopefully we can do that through our website and through the content that we have to offer. Just so you know, we're also offering live classes as well. So I want to just let you know, in addition to all the content that you're going to have kind of available at your fingertips on demand 24/7, you will also be receiving emails. We offer live classes either once or twice a week. So you'll get emails that basically give you the option to register at no charge to attend these classes as well. That's included in the Spiro100 package. So just so you know that there's like a whole other piece of this where you can actually like interact with our trainers, ask them questions before and after classes. You can see the other people that are taking the class alongside of you, because we know socialization is such a major issue right now as well. So we want to make sure that you guys are interacting as much as possible with other people, even if it is virtually. And yeah, I think that kind of sums up the introduction for us. And now I'd like to share my screen if you guys think we're ready for that. Yeah. Great. 1 second. Okay. So after today's call, I'm going to be receiving a list of all your emails where I will basically be giving you all accounts. At that point, once your account has been set up, you will be receiving an email that it basically says start watching. So you can click a button in that email, and from there, you will be taken to this site, and it won't ask you for any login credentials. It'll be extremely easy for you to access the content that you're looking for. So this is my actual account. You can see here, I have a couple of videos that I'm in the middle of. That's why they're showing up at the very top here. But what you will see at the very top of your page is here. So these different options. So I want to exercise while seated in a chair or supported by a chair or standing, or the 7-day movement challenge. And then below there's some additional playlists as well. So like I said, first things first, we want to make sure that you're taking a class that will be safe for you. So that's why we've broken it out at the very, very high level at just what's your level of ability? What level of class are you comfortable taking? Do you want to be seated while taking a class? Do you want to use a chair or walker as support while you take a class? Or do you want to exercise while standing? All of those are options here. And then if you're just kind of thinking about, I'm not exactly sure where I want to get started, but I know what level, you can click the 7-day movement challenge. We have a really nice little feature here where we actually walk you through a week of classes that introduce you to many different types of classes and many different, at all the different levels of ability. So I'm just going to click on.
Mark, can I stop you before you click?
Sure.
Because I think we have maybe people that aren't as tech savvy as others out there. So I just want to clarify a couple of things. So that top level where it says series, that's sort of the top level of where you need to make a selection. And if you see way over to the right, there's a little arrow. We call that a carousel. And when you click on that arrow, you see there's even more categories in that top level selection. So you get to choose from, do you want seated exercises? Do you want supported exercises? So perhaps you use a walker or you need a chair for support. Then we have exercises for standing. The 7-day movement challenge will go into that. Once you're in the 7-day movement challenge, you can pick your category of seated, standing, or supported. Then there's brain health, which is physical and mental movement combined, and then the relaxation category. That's the top level, and that's on a carousel. So when you, again, push that arrow button on either the right or the left, it moves that selection around. So just, again, for those that aren't as tech savvy, just wanted to point that out. That is also the same on your phone or your tablet if you're using either of those devices.
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Lori. And then just below this top level, we also have a couple featured playlists as well. So one is an easy route to meditation. So you can, again, you can click the button here to scroll. But we have meditations very easy to access. And then also we have our fall prevention, so fall proof classes. I'll tell you more about Dr. Rose, who's featured in these classes in a little bit. But yeah, these are unbelievable classes that can help you work on your balance and reduce your risk of falling. So just easy access points there for those types of classes. But now I'm going to click on, let's say I wanted to exercise while seated in a chair. I'm going to go ahead and click that button. It's going to take me to our seated exercise page. When you scroll down a little bit, so you can see here at the top, choose from 60 plus classes. Click the V below to find the 9 categories of exercises to choose from. So this is the V, right? So strength and posture, there's this V here. And here you can choose a type of class that you'd like to take. So we have it defaulted to strength and posture. We also have yoga, dance, flexibility, sports, Tai Chi, meditations, exercise combo is kind of like an exercise and mental combined, and then drum circle, therapeutic drum circles too, which has been really cool. This is kind of irrelevant, but you can sort these classes alphabetically if you wanted to find a class, or you can sort by our release date. That's fine to do as well. You find classes a little more quickly.
Oops, Mark, I think you're freezing.
I'd like to play.
Mark, you're freezing. Maybe you should,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you, but maybe you want to turn your camera off. That might stop the freezing. We can't hear you now.
Sorry guys, 1 second. So
Yeah, we can hear you now.
okay. Yeah, the page is just loading for me. So I clicked on a class once I had found it. And as soon as I click, it'll go right into the video. And you can see we start with just like a little info card and then a disclaimer, and then it jumps
Hi, I'm Dara. Welcome to
right into the class.
Hope you have your equipment ready.
And here, this is Dara. She has either paper plates or sliders for this class. Everything that we have here, you have, if we use hand weights, you can use hand weights, or you can use, water bottles. There's always kind of at-home options. So you can see she has like sliders in her hand. Paper plates is another great option for this class. So really, first of all, Dara is just phenomenal. She was one of the top wellness professionals at a company called Rehab Care. She's developed thousands and thousands of wellness programs specifically for older adults. And she's actually also the person that goes through all of our content, every single minute of content, to make sure that it's completely safe and appropriate for the people that will be watching. So there's a couple other options here. So you can add this class to my list. You can that'll kind of save the class as something that you want to do again. You can also, when your mouse is on the video player itself, you can say, okay, I want to jump to 2 minutes and 49 seconds, or you can just kind of scroll through the class to see it a little bit. You can control the volume of the class here. So it's not just the volume on your actual computer. You can actually tell Vimeo or tell the website, how loud you'd like it to be. There's this gear here as well that allows you, if you're, for whatever reason, your internet isn't acting strong like mine wasn't a second ago, you can say, okay, pick the quality of the class. It'll default to the highest resolution possible that's acceptable with your bandwidth. But if you wanted to make sure that you wanted something that played really, really smoothly, you can drop it down a little bit. And then of course you can go full screen. So here we go, full screen. And this makes it for a really nice user experience. You can also share. So if you want to tell friends about it, you can share it on Facebook or Twitter, or you can send an email to someone saying, check out this class. We love to hear comments. So you can leave a comment. So we have a couple comments here. This person, Ruth, said, Dara's right. If you do these exercises 2 to 3 times a week, your legs will get stronger. I'm an 82-year-old woman who's walking further than I have in a long time. So those are the types of things that we love to hear. But we also like to hear, if you didn't like a class for whatever reason, any feedback is really good feedback as far as we're concerned, and it will help us give you the content that's right for you. So please don't hesitate to leave any comments about any classes.
Mark, can you save that to your list and then perhaps show them what that looks like?
Sure. I'm gonna add to my list here. Okay. I can go back to the seated classes, right? So this takes me back to where we were, and then I could choose either a different, let's say I wanted to do sports. I can choose the sports section, and the classes below will change. I can go to dance, and again, the classes below will change to be dance classes. So really everything's controlled here on this button. What classes that you're going to see and have to choose from. You're just going to want to click on this button to pick. And the first thing is going to be strength and posture, which is really, really robust category. Okay, so now go back to browse to show you. So I added leg strengthening 1 to my list, and here's my list. So it becomes, this is a kind of a way to personalize the experience for yourself. So I added it to my list, and my list just automatically shows up on the home page. So when you first come to the site, you click browse. It'll be right there at the top. Also continue watching. So if you stopped a class in the middle, that class will show up at the very, very top, and then right underneath it will be my list. Are there any questions so far?
Mark, how often are classes added or retired from the site?
Sure, we haven't been retiring many classes. It's probably been a year or 2 since we've done that. If we get really bad feedback about a class, we will do that. But we're adding classes at least every month. And then, like I said, we're having these live classes as well. So at least 1 to 2 classes per week are going to be live. And that should give you a bunch of new content and we add those to the site. It's not immediate, but it does happen within like a week or two after a live class. It will become that those classes will become available on demand here as well.
Someone is asking if you could repeat the process of how to set up an account.
So you will not have to do anything. Basically, if you're signed up for this webinar, I will have your email address and I will be setting up an account on your behalf. It won't cost you anything extra. All you will have to do is look out for an email from Spiro100, and that will have a button in it that says start watching, and you click that button and it will take you, and Lori's showing it to you right now if you can see Lori. Lori, maybe you need to speak to be featured.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes. So this, I just brought the email up on my phone, but you will get an email that looks like this. It's a little shiny. Sorry about that. So you'll get an email. I'll have a picture. Oh, have a picture on it. And then this blue button will be in the middle of the email and it will say start watching now. And you just press, click on that blue bar and it will take you right to the app. And that will happen on your tablet, laptop, or smartphone.
Lori, there's a few questions coming in. Will it work on Roku as well? Someone is asking exactly which devices would support the app.
That's a Mark question.
Yeah, so this is available obviously on the web, which is what we're looking at right now, but then also on iPhone, Android, iPad, Android tablets, Amazon Fire. So if you have like a Amazon Fire Stick, that'll work there, and also Roku. So the app is available. You will have to authorize the app. So when you try to open up the app, once you've downloaded it on a device, it'll give you the option to either sign in or create an account. And when you click sign in, it'll give you the option to authenticate that device by it'll like spell out a website. So it'll be like spiro100.com/activate. And then a code will come up and you have to just type that in to, the Roku device or whatever. And then your account will be allowed to access, and it'll never once you go through that process once, it will never ask you that again. So you will always be activated or you'll always be allowed to access the content once you've gone through that process once on your device. And that's a really simple, and we're going to send out those instructions to Marla, who can share that stuff with you over email. So we'll have like a step-by-step instructions on how to activate whatever device you're on. I see another question coming in. Can you stream from phone to, I assume that's to TV, Rosemary? Yes, you can. If you have a smart TV that can pick up whatever your phone is, then you can absolutely do that. You can also potentially plug your phone directly into your TV. There's many different ways, and I'm happy to support you if you're having trouble figuring that out. That would be fine.
Along those lines, Mark, someone's asking about desktop to TV, but that would be a matter of, I imagine, and I'm not techie, an HDMI cord or some type of a connection between that desktop to their television if they want to broadcast it on a larger screen. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're on a desktop or a laptop, as long as you can bring that close to a television, you should be able to plug it directly in and use the TV as the monitor. And audio should also come through with an HDMI cable. These are advanced questions, I'd say.
There's some good questions. Yeah.
Someone's asking, can classes be downloaded? I don't know that there would necessarily be a need since they can mark their favorites, but is there the ability to download a class?
Yeah, so if you're on a mobile device and using the app, you can download a class. That way you're not using data. So when you're connected to Wi-Fi, you pick the class that you want to do later that day. Let's say you're traveling or whatever it is, and you want to make sure that you have a class ready to go when you get to the hotel room. That's totally fine. You can download the class as long as you're an active subscriber, which all of you will now be. As long as you're with Kendal, then you can download the content and watch it. It will take up space on your phone. So that's just something to be aware of, right? It would be tough to download and fit the entire library on your phone. There's probably 60 hours of exercise available right now. So that would be a lot to download, but pick a couple that are your favorites so you have a really, really clean playback experience. I think that's a really, really smart thing to do, for sure.
Someone's asking if there would be an app on their screen. And of course, if they've gone to the app store on a device, that app would remain. But what about on your computer itself? If you're going through the app on your desktop, would there be an app icon on your computer?
I don't believe there would be an app icon. You can always create like a shortcut bookmark for the website. So if you're on your computer, it can easily be done. Every browser is a little bit different, but for me, in my browser, I click the star button, and that will bookmark the page for me. So every time I open the browser, it's really easy for me to get back to Spiro100.
Perfect. And you, I believe, mentioned yoga. Someone wanted to know specifically if there are yoga classes available.
There are, yes, of course. So we have, and actually there's a search button here. So if I type in yoga, here come our yoga classes. So this is another way to find classes, right? This is, you have to kind of look at the thumbnails to know if it's going to be appropriate for you. But you can see, this is a seated class. This is a standing class. This is definitely a more advanced standing class because Stacy, who's also just like, I can't say enough about our instructors. Stacy teaches the 500-hour teacher training for yogas in San Diego. She is just incredible. She's been nominated for Instructor of the Year from some of the top bodies of exercise in the country. So just an incredible instructor, and she offers many yoga classes here. But yeah, you can search that way, or you can just go the original way that we talked about. So if you wanted to do yoga while seated, you can click on the seated category. You can go down and click the little V there to pick from classes. You click yoga, and it'll sort to yoga classes.
In the seated position.
In the seated position, right? Because we're in the seated. Over here.
Perfect. I have another connection question. This one's definitely above my knowledge level. They say we cast from Chrome via Bluetooth to our TV. So if Spiro is on Chrome, we can do it, correct?
Yeah, Chrome is definitely a browser that we're compatible with.
Perfect. Mark, there.
So you can 100% cast onto cast. Sorry, I missed that question.
Oh, you're fine.
You got it.
A little echo going on. I apologize. Mark, someone's asking what your background is that led you to design this company in the first place.
Yeah, great question. So I'm one of two founders, and just to give you a little, like, this is a longer story. I'll try and make it as brief as possible. But so my business partner, Alex, he started the company as a media production company. And when we first launched, we were doing live events. So we go around the country, we do music festivals and business conferences and basically broadcast. Like, we were some of the first people to broadcast to the internet. we were doing it before, like there was FaceTime Live and like all this stuff. Like that was unheard of back in those days, 10, 12 years ago when we first started the company. But that lifestyle, I quickly realized was not for me. I was very event driven. And so I quickly started looking at, okay, where else is live streaming having success? And exercise was one of the main places where we saw it really working. So we quickly jumped on it, and very, very shortly afterwards, we were at a conference where Jane Fonda was speaking, and she was talking to us about how the older demographic is completely being ignored by most people in the exercise world. And that is just like devastating, right? Because this is probably the demographic that needs it most, because older adults want to be able to live their lives independently, and they want to stay safe, and a lot of them want to age in place, and doing so without exercising and without taking a big focus, or really concentrating on just making it a priority, right? If you don't work on it, it's gonna go away. And so it became a huge passion of mine, when my dad's dad basically passed away from falling. It took him 18 months or so after he fell, but he was never the same afterwards. And so combining the power of media and exercise and targeting it towards the people that need it most just became an absolute huge passion of mine. And so we just kind of found the best team. We surrounded ourselves with the best people and the best content providers and the best people that can help us plan and design these classes. And I think we're helping a lot of people live a better life right now.
Excellent, thank you. And maybe you're going to talk about this, Mark, so I don't want to steal your thunder, but definitely talking about falls and fall risk obviously increases exponentially as we age. The fact that you incorporate the fall proof program with Dr. Rose, that really was a selling point to Kendal at Home, because that's such an excellent program that is evidence-based to reduce falls. So can you talk a little bit about Dr. Rose and that fall proof program?
Absolutely. Yeah. Fall prevention. When I saw the stats around falls, the first time I saw them, I could not believe it. It is such a major issue. It is such a huge expense for this country and for the people who experience it. If you live in a community, for the communities that are taking care of the individuals who fall, for the hospitals, for Medicare. I mean, for everybody, this is such a huge expense financially. And then that's just the start of it, right? Because like when you actually experience a fall, your entire life changes. You live in a place of fear a lot of the time, and it's really, really difficult to get out of that. What we found is that the best way to do so is to get your confidence back by staying active. I was just in the hospital. My wife just had a baby. They wouldn't let her walk, a couple days later, because they didn't want her to fall. That is the opposite approach that we take here at Spiro100. We want people walking, we want people exercising, because that's going to reduce the risk of falling, not increase it. Like imagine telling a patient that the best way to not fall is to just stay in bed. To me, that is completely insane. Sure, you might not fall down, but you also are going to be in bed your whole life. So the way that we attack this is by finding the people that have done the studies, and that's Dr. Debbie Rose. She's created a program called Fall Proof, which statistically is the #1 program in the country when it comes to reducing the fall risk of older adults. She's out of Cal State Fullerton. She's done all the studies around it. And she's graced us with 9 classes of hers that are like fall proof certified, essentially. So it takes all the research that she's done and she's packed it into these 9 classes for us and for you to experience, to really work on and improve your balance. And not only do we have Dr. Debbie Rose herself, but she has, I think, 5 or 6 total kind of certified master fall proof instructors in the country, and we have one of them on the team as well. So Sue Grant, she's another one of our trainers who really specializes in falls. Sue Grant also works or studying right now at the Pacific Brain Health Institute. So she's been doing a lot of studying on how combining movement with kind of like brain gamey things has a multiplier effect. So, you know, when you're working on keeping your balance and your core strength and your lower body strength, you know, she's even throwing other stuff at you to make your brain work as well. And all of that together is just, I mean, it's the impact is drastic. So just to give you guys a little bit of data from what we've experienced so far, because we have this working in a lot of communities, or being used in a lot of senior living communities across the country right now. People that use our fall proof classes, those communities are experiencing about a 25 to 30% reduction in falls in the first 90 days. And we think that number is drastically understated because we know that we're not getting 100% participation in those communities, but we're looking at total falls from day 0 to day 90. So we think that the number could be significantly higher for those that are participating. You know, we're hoping that we're reducing falls by 50, 60, 70%. I don't know, but I don't know what that number is exactly. So we still quote the 25 to 30%. And I could not recommend those classes highly enough. It's a great way to get started, to get, if you've experienced a fall yourself, and you're looking to get your confidence back. I mean, this is just such a great place to start, because these are the people that you can really trust to get you back in the right place.
Thank you, Mark. We do have a few more questions. I will shoot your way here. One question is, do you have a individual membership option? So if they have a friend that is not a Kendal at Home member that might be interested in participating in Spiro100, is there the availability for an individual person to join Spiro100?
Yeah, there is. They can, just like anybody else, they can go onto our website or into the App Store and download our app. It's $9 a month. So we're trying to make it accessible to everybody. I mean, like I said, I mean, these trainers are really at the top of their fields. You know, for a one-on-one instruction with them, you'd be paying hundreds of dollars for that. But because we're able to leverage the content through on-demand media and filming them and making it available this way, we've been able to get it down to what we think is a very affordable price.
Perfect. There's another question. Someone's asking, I don't understand how to get back into an exercise after the initial experience. I'm not sure if they're talking about the next time they log in or how to find a class that they have watched before.
Okay, so if you are in the middle of the class, it's going to come up right here at the top, right? So continue watching. Yeah, we had just started the leg strengthening class that we started watching, right? And that's the first thing that shows up. I also added it to my list, right? So I think those are probably the two most effective ways to kind of find classes that you really liked. You can, you know, my list is essentially favoriting a class, right? So you're building out the list of classes that you like the most. You can then, you know, if you're on an app, you can actually download those classes, so you're not dealing with any streaming costs or anything like that too. Now I'll tell you, I'll show you again how to get there. So, but here right now it says remove from my list because it's already on my list. You know, were this a class that was not yet on my list? You know, if you're in the middle of taking the class and you're like, ooh, I really like this one, then just move your mouse up to the top, click, add this to my list again. And I think that's going to be the best way to find those classes. Again, I don't believe that we have like a viewership history available here. So the best way is to kind of tag them or flag them as something on your list, and then you can easily find the class again.
Very good. And there's one more question asking about suggested weekly program for balance, but I think you might have touched on that, talking about the fall proof classes with Dr. Rose certainly would be the best
Yeah.
bet for improving balance.
Yeah, and then so there's and we can probably break some of these classes into kind of more specific categories as well. But anything that has like a lower body strength or balance focus in the name, I think those are really great places if you're not taking like an actual Debbie Rose fall proof class. So if you're looking to supplement the Debbie Rose classes, then I would just look for other balance or lower body strength classes. Really, that would be my suggestion.
Is there a frequency with which someone would need to participate in classes to have the most reduced risk for falls? Does Dr. Rose recommend 3 times a week, 5 times a week? Is there a...
That's a really good question. Yeah, so I think that in the program that we recommend to the senior living communities, we have a very structured formula, and I believe we're looking at like typically 1 balance, 1 lower body strength class each week. So, Debbie tends to combine those two in her classes. So if you can, I would say kind of just again, try and find lower body strength or a balance class, combine that with the Debbie class, and you're going to be covered. That would be a really, really great starting point if you're taking 2 of those classes a week. And then I would say any other class, any other class that we offer at all is another great way to go. So, we want to get you moving at least 3 times a week. 5 times would be amazing, right? But we know everyone's lives are busy and hectic, and you really have to work on fitting these classes into your schedule. So if you can do 5 times a week, that would be amazing.
The CDC recommends 30 minutes a day for older adults of moderate exercise to maintain a healthy immune system. So, I mean, if and that 30 minutes of moderate exercise is enjoyable. We're not talking about push-ups, and those, those boring, hard to do, uncomfortable exercises we did when we were younger to get the beach bodies. These are very comfortable. They're enjoyable. You're going to feel energized afterwards. So 30 minutes a day, should be easy to do when you have it right there on your laptop.
Yeah, I think it's 150 minutes a week. So 30, you can pick 5 days, do a class every day, or each of those 5 days if you can.
Right.
I think that would be incredible if you guys do that. But there's also, there's other types of exercise as well, right?
Walking.
You can go for walks, right. You can go for a bike ride, whatever it is that you're doing, go for a swim. We're not saying that you have to only use us for that, but if you want to really focus on fall prevention, I'd say at least 1 balance, at least one lower body strength class each week, or combining a Debbie with one of those types of classes each week is a great way to go. And then, I would imagine that everyone here on this call is definitely, they've made this priority because they're spending the time to be here. So I would hope that you guys are all getting those 150 minutes in.
Excellent.
And I did type in balance in the search bar, and we have 25 classes that have balance in either the name or the description. So it's always, again, multiple ways to find the classes that you want.
Thank you, Lori. That was great advice.
Mm-hmm.
Members are commenting that they are very excited for the variety that your program offers, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, and then once the emails are in, you guys will have immediate access to this, and then you'll also be, like I said, included on all of our email communication when we're promoting our live classes, so you can sign up for those as well. So like I said, whatever we have here is available on demand, and then whatever live classes You'll get descriptions on those and levels of ability. All that information will be included in those emails. But then really one of the coolest things about it is you get to talk to the instructors, both before and after class. So if you do register, just be sure to get there a little early and feel free to hang out a little bit afterwards to get your questions answered, because they are just so well informed and so well trained that you're looking for. So it's kind of like a free consultation almost. It's really cool.
I think too, we should probably just touch very quickly on the meditation classes, Mark.
Sure. Yeah, so when we go back to the homepage here, right below where you're, choosing how you want to exercise, we have a meditations playlist. Meditation to some is kind of a weird term. Some people just immediately say no to it. And I would really suggest that you at least give it a try. I think it's become more what's the word I'm looking for? Like socially acceptable meditation recently. So maybe it doesn't have that stigma anymore. But I know when we first started doing this, people really were like, meditations, like, why would I do this? It really helps. I mean, people that meditate every day, they are just more at peace with themselves. They're taking time out to focus on them and to understand themselves. And this woman that we have doing a lot of our meditations, she's a minister, not attached to any faith. But she's just, just like listening to her talk is like one of the most relaxing things you can do.
Can you scroll the carousel just once to show the other titles? And just to add, I know, again, as we age, sleep becomes sort of disrupted, and it's harder to get that a full night's sleep. And we've gotten such feedback that people that are doing these meditation classes in the evening are finding that they are sleeping better. So it's just putting your mind, your thoughts into a really good place before you go to bed. Again, just all over health. Getting a good night's sleep is also, and good rest is also, important and part of becoming healthier, along with doing your exercises physically.
Yeah, it makes for the full package. If you have the time to kind of fit it all in, taking care of your mind is just as important as taking care of your body. And, we have a nice little library here of meditations available, and things that will really just kind of get you thinking about your own experiences and how you can, and it just helps you kind of internalize your feelings and understand them. And it's just a nice window into kind of what's going on in your own head, which is really cool. I mean, walking away from a class, a meditation class, and thinking like, I have a new perspective on stuff. It can be really altering for how you approach the rest of the day, and hopefully you can turn it into like a lifelong practice where you're spending the time to kind of focus on yourself and your feelings and understanding them. Because I think that helps every single person that tries it out. You'll be surprised potentially.
Very good. Well,
any other questions right now?
Don't see any other questions coming across, but I thank you both for taking the time, and we're so excited at Kendal at Home to be able to offer Spiro100 as a benefit to our members. Next steps, as Mark mentioned, will be that each of you will receive an email, and Mark or Lori, let me know that comes directly from Spiro, because I think it's important for them to also know to check their spam perhaps or their junk mail, because sometimes those types of emails might not make their way directly into your inbox. So
yeah, it comes from Spiro100 Senior Fitness and Wellness. So that's the title, or the like the sender.
Okay.
Typically they get through. So I'm hoping they will. Every time I've been on a call and set up a new account, they've seen the email come in. But there's, of course, some people have really strict spam filters, and Marla, I think it would be great to just let everyone know once you've sent the email, or once we've set up the accounts, just to let them know that they should have received their email. If they haven't, let us know. We can also send those emails, but that'll be coming from the same place.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We can send out an email to all of the members and let them know that the accounts have been set up. And do we think time frame wise in the next 1 to 2 weeks? I know we have a holiday coming up here around the corner.
Yeah, once you give us the emails, I can see us turning it around potentially even that day, if not a day or two. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. And yes, we are recording this. Someone's asking if they can share it with their spouse later. So we are recording this, and we'll let you know how you can access this recording as well. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Lori. And we look forward to utilizing Spiro100 and perhaps bringing you back, as people might have some questions down the road as they begin to navigate the system. But we're excited for this offering. So.
That's a great idea, Marla. Yeah, to maybe revisit this in a couple of weeks when they had a chance to play around in the app and find the different exercises. Sure. Love that idea. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.